So the PS5 Pro full specs leak and it sounds impressive, and the current PlayStation 5 is getting cheaper. Those are the two stories we're going to go over today, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. First, yes or no, would you buy the PlayStation 5 Pro if it was $600 or not? We're going to be talking about the price of the Pro later on in the video, but before then, I'm curious, what are people's limits when it comes to the PS5 Pro pricing? So comment below, yes or no, if you'd buy a PlayStation 5 Pro if it was $600. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, diving into it right away, the PlayStation 5 Pro specs leak. So this was an exciting report to wake up to, but it seems that we have the specs from developers themselves on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Finally, that's what it seems right now. Moore's Law is Dead revealed some details on the PlayStation 5 Pro that, according to him, is what Sony is sharing with their partners. The documents he shared, he states he's messed around with, so if the images of the documents look weird, he did that on purpose to protect his source. But with that to the side, the documents reveal that the PlayStation 5 Pro is codenamed Trinity, which is what we've heard so far. It states that there will be one package to support both the standard PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro, which is probably a big deal for developers because it sounds like there's going to be less work to support the PlayStation 5 Pro. Existing PlayStation 5 titles can be patched for higher performance, which is similar to the PS4 Pro, and I hope developers do take advantage of this for current PlayStation 5 titles. When running on Trinity, games can support higher resolution and frame rate, which is what we expected, of course, what we hoped for. Games can also leverage increased performance to support new graphics features such as Raytracing. So a game that didn't have Raytracing before because of performance limitations on the base PlayStation 5 seemingly has the option to do that now. So that's the preview. That's the preview of the information. Now we're going to get into the details. So rendering on the PlayStation 5 Pro is 45%, about 45% faster than the base PlayStation 5, which is kind of what we've heard so far in terms of the PlayStation 5 Pro having 50% better performance. Moore's Law guesses that Sony went with this because they probably saw the market of games running on capped frames, and they just need that bit of performance to boost them to hit that 60 frames per second or that 120 frames per second. So if a game was running at 40-ish FPS, that could be boosted to 60 FPS, and that's personally all I really care about, but it doesn't stop there. Apparently the PlayStation 5 Pro will have 2 to 3 times and sometimes even 4 times faster ray tracing than the base PlayStation 5, which Moore's Law points out sounds like something that's higher than RDNA 3, so it could be a custom mix. We've heard it's something like an RDNA 3.5, so that seemingly aligns with this, so it'll probably have RDNA 4 features. Now, putting that to the side, this is the big one. PlayStation's Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR. This is what Sony is using to compete with FSR and DLSS, the other major upscaling technologies on the market. Apparently, they're already claiming it's better than FSR2 according to these documents. Just to remind people, FSR3 is still using FSR2 upscaling technology. Frame generation was the big new piece of upgrade. That was the big upgrade from FSR2 to FSR3, the frame generation technology, because it's still using FSR2 upscaling tech. If you want more information on that, we've covered that in the past, so search up for those videos or just honestly Google it and you'll understand the situation. But according to these docs, Sony has custom architecture for machine learning upscaling. Right there at the top of the second page, it states machine learning hardware. That's a big piece to have dedicated hardware for upscaling. This is where they state that the PlayStation 5 has 67 teraflops of 16-bit floating points, which is when compared to the base PlayStation 5 or Series X, which those teraflop numbers are based on 32-bit floating points, means you just divide this number into 2 and you get 33.5 teraflops for the PlayStation 5 Pro. But again, as we've heard before from the great Mark Cerny, teraflops don't really matter as much, but go get those console war discussions going on. 33.5 teraflops is, of course, impressive. According to these docs, Sony also has their own type of machine learning called PlayStation machine learning, which they use in combination with this PlayStation spectral super resolution technology to get a current max of 4K resolution, with 8K being the future target. So this won't be 8K supported from the jump. And again, this is upscaled 4K and upscaled 8K, not native for anybody ready to make those jokes. They're talking about upscaled resolutions, not native 8K. But really, people only care if it looks as good as 4K and 8K. Native is not that important. People aren't going to sit there and do what Digital Foundry does and pinpoint at every little thing and then try to pixel count and try to go through that whole situation. People only care if it looks as good as 4K or looks as good as 8K, because at the end of the day, we're playing games. But this tech also has full HDR support and dynamic input resolution, which is another big piece of information. Dynamic input resolution basically means, according to these docs, that games that have dynamic resolution can be upscaled. So if a game goes from 1080p to 1440p to 800p, etc., like we've seen with a lot of games, it'll upscale those images to 4K dynamically as well, which again, all we care about is this game getting that 4K visual and 60 FPS. But this is just to inform you what's happening in the back end. But that's basically everything. This sounds impressive from what I'm reading, but again, it's currently just a rumor, of course, as always, until it's confirmed. All of this sounds reasonable outside of the dedicated hardware for machine learning. That one surprised me, but having something called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution sounds like something PlayStation would call their upscaling technology. So overall, roughly 45% better rendering performance. That's without optimization. 2 to 4 times faster ray tracing over the base PlayStation 5, 33.5 teraflops for the console warrior debates. That's an important one. And he uses PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR, in combination with PlayStation's machine learning tech. Exciting stuff. Can't wait for the actual announcement, which is potentially later this year in September. I hope we get more leaks and maybe the dev console could leak. We could see a glimpse of that. But you guys let me know if this gets you excited for the PlayStation 5 Pro or not. And if you're enjoying the video so far, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community on our way to 150,000 subscribers. And now diving into the final story of the video, the current PlayStation 5 is getting cheaper once again. So I wanted to cover this story because we've seen Sony discount the PlayStation 5 left and right since late last year, which I hope is an indication that they could potentially drop the price of the PlayStation 5 when the PlayStation 5 Pro launches, so that thing could launch at a reasonable price. But reading from Video Game Chronicle, in Germany, retailers, including GameStop, reportedly plan to cut the console's price, the PlayStation 5's price, from 549 euros to 479 euros, and throw in a free copy of Alone in the Dark when the game launches on March 20th. Data miner Bill Kuhn expects the promotion to launch around March 18th in France. So I hope to see these discounts continue more so and potentially lead, hopefully I'm coping out here, but to lead to a potential price drop for the base PlayStation 5. That's one of the big ways that this console will hit that higher player count. Sony says they'll reach more people by putting out greater games to help against not being able to drop the price of the console, but price matters a lot to people, so that's got to change somehow. We'll see how this goes later this year, but it'll be interesting to see people's reactions if the PlayStation 5 Pro is $600 or over that. I don't think it'll go over 600, but to see it at 600, I'll buy that thing day one easy without hesitation. But I know that's not everyone's case. But you guys let me know if you see Sony dropping the price of the base PlayStation 5 later this year or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, as it always helps. So subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is a part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with Take my money, Sony. For the PlayStation 5 Pro, I'm ready to drop down my whatever price that thing is to get this PlayStation 5 Pro and get that better performance, that upscaling, all of that good stuff. If you're on the same boat, destroy the comment section with "Take my money, Sony," and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.